my name's Katie, or the priest's wife, because I'm married to a priest, so I am a priest's wife. And I'll be filling out my May reading journal in my reading journal for 2026. I'm just flipping through some of the front pages that we'll come back to later to fill out. And these are some of the pages I filled out in the past, just so you have an idea of what I do. And this is my May calendar. I decorate my calendars and then use the colors that I've decorated with to kind of keep track of the books that I'm reading. I just put 2 red dots next to a couple of books that I have put on pause. Either I was reading them and they got returned to the library, or I'm a big mood reader and I just wasn't feeling it. So I kind of pause them and I'll come back to them at some point. I'm adding a couple of new books that I started in coordination with the same colors that are kind of popping out at me from the calendar, and I write a little letter in each color so I know what book it is. So it's my book key, and then I will put a little asterisk when I have finished a book. This is what I do for every page that I have read a book for. So each book gets a page. Some books don't deserve a full page. One of the books this month didn't, but it got one anyway. So I'll fill out pages, read, genre, format, rating, and quotes. I do not do sort of a book report style tracking of my books. I don't enjoy that. But I do like seeing quotes that meant something or made me laugh or were poignant or were really well written from each of the books. And here I am just adding my rating stamp. It's just a blank out of 5, and then you fill in the 5 stars. So I'm doing that for all 6 books I read this month. Just cleaning off my stamp. I do get better care of my stamps than that, but these are just for reading. This is my HP Sprocket, which I'm going to use my iPad to print out a couple of books that I need the covers for. As you can see, there's 2 sizes here, and that's for 2 physical books I've read, and these are 2 audio books I listened to. So I did different sizes so that it's visually clear that they're audiobooks, and I will do something additional to make that clear. And these are just photo on the front and sticky on the back, so they stick right in, which is nice and convenient. Now I have chosen a color for each book that I've pulled from the cover. This is the first book in the Cradle series, Unsold by Real Right, which currently has a chokehold on me. And red was the most prominent color, so I picked red. I will do all the quotes in red as well. This one is the Ruby Dragon Prince, which I did not enjoy and is probably my least favorite book of the year, and isn't going to get any quotes later. But it had teal in the cover, so I picked teal. This is the second book in the Cradle series, Soulsmith, so it's got a blue cover, so I picked blue, and I will fill everything out for this book in blue because it matches, and I like things to match on the pages. For Dungeon Crawler Carl, I read it in audio version, which is why the sticker for it is a square, because the audio version covers are square. And I've also got this big set of headphones, and I will put the cover inside the headphones. It's very serendipitous that they happen to fit perfectly inside those headphones. Instead of pages read, I'm going to put the audio time listened, and filling it out in purple, since purple is sort of, the HP doesn't always print true to color, and but the shading that the artist used on the cover was, there is a lot of purple, so I picked purple for that. The next book I don't have a cover for yet, but it is Black Flame, which is the third in the Cradle series. But here I've again done headphones, and this is for the second book of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, Carl's Doomsday Scenario, which I also listened to on audiobook. And I just pulled out orange from the cover here because yellow doesn't work very well as writing for my poor, tired, old eyes. And the same is going to go for Black Flame, where the predominant color on the cover is yellow, but there is a black center in it because Black Flame. So I'm using my black pen to fill this out for Black Flame. So as I was saying, and here I've gone back and I've properly given Doomsday Scenario, it's 4.5 rather than just 4. This is my yearly log of how many books I've read, how many pages I've read, how many physical books, how many ebooks, audiobooks, tandem reads, did not finish, and my score for each month, average rating for each month. This is something I took from Jellyfish Journals, which is a graph that just shows me my pages read every month. This is a graph that shows me how many books I read every month. And it's nice to have those visuals. Here is my book brackets, which Dungeon Crawler Carl, the audiobook, was the winner this month. No surprise, they're amazing. And now I'm filling out any book that I haven't already put in the 2026 books read. And this is all the books I've read during 2026. I tend to do different colors for each set of stars, which is unnecessary, but I like it. A lot of people just do black in this section, but I like having a rainbow or, just a multitude of colors. It just makes me happy. So that's what I do. Dungeon Crawler Carl, like I said, is the best book this month. So it got a 5. It's just amazing. If you haven't heard it, everything you hear is true. So here I'm getting ready to decorate some of the pages where the quotes didn't fill up the whole page, or on the case of the Ruby Dragon Prince, there are no quotes because I didn't like it, so there was nothing to quote. All of these little books are fairy tale books from Journal Say, and they're washi type paper. So you just peel off the back and stick it down. So they're slightly see-through, but not too bad. And they're kind of, each book cover kind of shows the colors that are in it. So this one tends more golds and yellows, and there's other colors in there, but it's primarily yellow, gold, and then the green will be primarily greens, and the blacks will be primarily dark colors, grays and blacks, even though there's other colors in there. But these work well, especially for this month where most of what I read was fantasy. I usually just pick a scene or a character from the book from these washi books that reminds me of something that I read in the book that I read. And I've already picked them all out. So here I'm just going to use some Celestial Washi tape for that one. And for this one, though, for Ruby Dragon Prince, I used a wide washi and then the 2 stickers because there's nothing that I'm writing there because I just didn't enjoy that book. And then I'm using a Celestial Washi, which I believe is from Archer and Olive. I could be wrong. Because there's something important that has to do with kind of the stars and space, and the fox is also important. Here I'm adding 2 stickers that remind me of things that happen in the book or characters from the book. And here I've gone back to the genres read and I'm filling those out, mostly fantasy, RPG, and one smut this month. And that was the one that I didn't enjoy. Now I'm adding into my series tracker Dungeon Crawler Carl as an audiobook. And I do have the Parade of Horribles. I've read all the books physically, but I would like to listen to all of the books audio version before I do Parade of Horribles. Here I've started my recap page. I'm using an Archer and Olive acrylograph, which is not being my best friend right now. The acrylographs tend to not be good friends to me. There's a lot of having to, kind of re-ink them, and sometimes they get a little sloppy, and you'll see later that I will go back in with a white paint pen and clean that up a little bit once it's dry. Here I'm picking out stickers from the sticker book that I used to decorate May, the calendar page, which is by American Crafts. It's a very old one, so don't go out there looking for it, but it's Jen Hadfield Homemade by American Crafts. And like I said, it goes with what I picked for the calendar. So once I get the sticker where I want it, I'm just going to write recap in there, and then I will start writing down the things that I keep track of in my recaps. So every month, and here is where I have decided to fix the things that are making me crazy about the letter Y, and also the white doesn't always play nice either. So the things that I keep track of for my recaps are the number of books I've read, the number of pages I've read, any books that I did not finish, so DNF, the format I read the books in, which I'll make a little chart for that says, has a column for A, E, P, and T, which stands for audio, ebook, physical, and tandem. And tandem is different for me than I think most people. For me, tandem is I've read some audio, and I've read or listened some on audio, and I've read some of the book. I don't do them together, which is what a lot of people do when they tandem read, is they'll listen and read at the same time. I will start a book on audio, and then I'll pick it up and finish it on physically, or ebook, or I will be reading a book physically and I'll need to drive somewhere, and so I will listen to the audio version if it's available on one of my many places I can get audiobooks. The next thing I do is the average rating for the month, my favorite book of the month, my least favorite book of the month, and my favorite quote of the month. I have sped this up, but I am writing incredibly slow because I want it to be nice and neat. And if I don't write slow, it will not be nice and neat. It will be my regular sloppy cursive, which is not always great. And I apologize. I didn't realize that the very bottom of my screen is out of picture, but I'll tell you what the quote is when I write it in. So here I'm just writing in that I read 2 audiobooks and I read 4 ebooks. I'm also looking at, on my computer, I'm looking at Storygraph to see my average rating and how many pages I've read. So I read 6 books this month. I read a total of 1,902 books, which I'm going back to verify right now. 1,902 books? No, that is wrong. I did not read 1,902 books. I read 109,002 pages of books. I did not DNF anything this month. I should have, but I didn't. But it was a short book, so, whatever. My average rating was 3.63, and that's because it got brought way down by that 1-star book. My favorite book this month was Dungeon Crawler Carl, the audio version, and my least favorite book this month, in case you haven't already figured out, was The Ruby Dragon Prince. My favorite quote of the month is from Dungeon Crawler Carl, and in the audiobooks, it's kind of like a gameplay in some sense, and so the character gets a reward for something that they have done, and I have written down the wrong here I've written down the wrong page numbers, so I just go in with my little whiteout tape and I press it down, because if I don't press it down, it goes all over the place, and I'm putting in the correct number of pages. So the quote is, reward, I said, the ghost of Steve Irwin smiles down upon you, which may not make sense outside of the book, but really is hilarious inside the book. And like I said, for me, quotes really bring back the feeling and sense of the book in a way for me that just writing about the book wouldn't. So just making sure the stickers are going to stick. And I'm going to go back to the May calendar and just do a quick flip through of everything I've done this month and what it looks like now. And I still have that one book cover missing coming up, which I'll print when I have a few more books to print so I don't waste paper. And that's my May journal. Thanks for joining me.